What's up, guys? Ben here, bringing you another video from a very gloomy Wednesday morning here in Columbus, Ohio. Weather's just, it's tragic today. But I want to talk about something interesting. I alluded to it in my last video, but it has happened. Davpadie has been called up to the starting roster of the Florida Mutineers. Let's talk about it, what it means for Florida, and what it may mean for their current projected opponent at the Major 2 tournament. So yeah, Dave is back in the league. For maybe new viewers, Dave's been on the Florida roster before last season, and I'm showing you this tweet that they have. It's got some funny voiceover from Patrick Price if you want to watch it. I'm not going to play the audio because I'm going to get copyright strike because they use my Metro Boomin song. Beyond that, Dave is back, and what this means, unfortunately, is for Brack, he is going to move to the bench. The other kind of knockdown effect of this is Davpadie was on that omit team in the Challengers Elite. They're going to take Diamond Con on their roster for a couple of days to fill in his spot. Bunch of shuffling going on accordingly. I'm not really sure what Challengers team Brack is going to play on. We'll see kind of later on the week before the Cup. And the inevitable Rostermania that's going to happen when Challengers Elite ends on Thursday, what team he will end up on. And look, on the surface, this is sort of like a pretty weird move. We'll get to the reason I think why this is happening, but from an outside perspective, right, you look at how the team has played, right? They've been really good at search, one of the best search teams in the league, but hard point control have been really poor. And especially in this major, they actually have only won one respawn. And, Brack has not played bad. I mean, engagement and KD numbers are pretty good in respawn. I think in general, this team is really, really slow, and we'll get to Dave and all that in a second. But Brack hasn't really been that much of a contributor, I think, to the slow pace of their team. He's averaging 40 engagements per 10. Deaths per 10 are still higher than Mike's. He's been the only person that's really slaying for the team in hardpoint. S&D, he's been pretty good as well. He's got the highest KD on the team in search, but in general, all these guys have been absolutely crushing it in that game mode. And on the control side, he's been playing better than Mike, who's the other AR player. A little bit slower engagement-wise, but kills per 10 is up. So I don't really think there's much to read in that. I think he's just better at the game mode than Mike is. So on the surface, I think this is a weird move. The only thing I can think of, I tweeted out yesterday, jokingly, I don't quite understand the move. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me on paper. So I kind of gave people a challenge. I said, respond to me if you know why they're doing this. So I think for me, the one reason that I can think of is, and it's kind of like 1A, 1B on reasons. 1A is, the chemistry fit wasn't there. Maybe he was making mental mistakes on the map, and regardless of his good individual performance in terms of KD and all that, he's making those mistakes that are messing up spawns or not getting reads in time, and that's part of the issue that they have. The second thing I can think of, again, 1B is, there's some disagreement behind the scenes. There's a dust up. Team chemistry's not there. And even they're right kind of on the edge right now, potentially making it to winner's bracket for this event. They're trying to figure out how to get a victory this weekend, and we'll talk about their opponents in a sec. They're trying to go for that W and then kick it on from there. Those are the only reasons I can think of because his numbers are very good. And I think in general, replacing Brack for Dave is going to probably keep their thing. They're kind of formed the same, like a search. I think they'll still be good, but Dave coming in doesn't make their hard point necessarily better. I think the biggest issue with this team is the same problem that Vegas has, is you've got two subs that are dropping 0.88 in hard point. And if you look at all of the great hard point teams right now, as good as your ARs are playing, you need your sub players to be impactful, create pressure, and they don't have two subs that are really good at doing that in really either of the respawn game modes. Their only good respawn map right now is a CDL control. And honestly, that's a map where you don't really need that sub pressure. It's a lot of trying to get picks on the outer lanes and then collapsing and then playing around your team and getting your trades. It's not like a hotel where you can make a lot of plays in bedroom with a sub, or a fortress where you need your sub player to slay out top maps and run around bottom middle and finesse around the points. I kind of see sort of where this is going, but if it's just purely hey, we're doing it purely to improve the team chemistry because we're on the edge of qualifying, that's the only reason I can think of, because the rest of other stuff I come up with doesn't really, it makes it a very perplexing move, to be honest. So I think just in case people are curious, here are some challenger stats from the Elite so far. And Dave's actually been playing pretty good in challengers. He's, again, not like the fastest player in the world. He's getting a decent amount of kills, but Slayer rating is low. Like he's not on paper going to be a super fast player. 0.8 in S&D is a little concerning, but that could just be roles on the team, and honestly, that's crazy out of cap. But respawn control, like I think he's going to replace Brack in having a positive impact, but I don't think he's like some crazy speedster. And my other issue too, I think with this, when we talk about Dave coming in, is that there are times now where the game is sort of a 3-sub meta, and I'm very curious if him or Mike is going to pick up the sub. You know, at the end of the day, they're not going to be the fastest third sub, and I still think this team is really going to struggle in those respawns. Now, the interesting thing for Florida is they're currently sitting by tiebreaker, and we'll take a look here right now, in the 8th spot in the league. Now, if they're able to hold this position, and OpTic, I think, hold the #1 spot, which I think is likely because they're probably going to have at least 4 wins, maybe 5, depends on what happens in that last match against FaZe. We could see a Florida OpTic winners round 1 match, and if you're OpTic, the history in that matchup is not great. Dave is like 3-0 against OpTic, so potentially a curious one there. But Florida's only played 3 games. They're going to need to kind of jockey the rest of teams like Vegas and Thieves and London that at best can finish 2 and 3. So Florida has an opportunity to maybe get 2 dubs here. So let's take a look at the teams that they're going to play. First off, they're going to play London, and I think that's a very winnable match for them. London obviously had like 1 good series last weekend, but they haven't been playing super great on form, and I think they won that matchup because Maddie perhaps finally had a good series. I don't know how repeatable that is for the team. Maybe they've grabbed some momentum from it, but on paper, you know, this is one of those matchups where you get to game 5 and you can probably get it done against London because you're the better search team. And then we get to their last matchup, which is going to be against Boston. And similar to London, this is another team that they're going to play that's not particularly good game 5. I believe Boston has not won a single game 5 this season, and they've lost like 4 of them. So if we get there, I feel pretty good about Florida, but you're going to have to steal a respawn from this team and win 2 searches, which is going to be easier said than done. I think realistically, I can see Florida going 1-1, which maybe might be enough for them to sneak into winners. So that's really kind of the field of play for Florida. Like, I don't think for me that this move has made them infinitely better. Maybe it improves team chemistry, and that's what they're going for. They were already kind of on the edge of make it to winners or not. I think if they don't get to winners bracket, this team's going to get dead last in this tournament because their ability to win respawn is not it. But if they get to winners and OpTic is the 1st seed and they're the 8th seed, suddenly all the storylines about Florida and OpTic are still out there. And Florida's got that crazy record against them, so you never know from there. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. One thing in particular, and you guys always keep letting me know in the comments, I've noticed in videos I like sometimes refer to pro players too much by their first name. Please let me know if I do that a little too much. I'm trying to kind of work on that for future videos, especially for fans that aren't aware of everybody's names. It gets a little bit confusing. So stay on top of me on that one. As always, like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys on the next one.